The Great Bible, 1 Samuel, the 27th chapter. David fleeth to Achish, king of Geth, the 27th chapter. And David said in his heart, I shall perish one day or other by the hand of Saul. Therefore is there nothing better for me than to flee and save myself in the land of the Philistines, and Saul shall seize and seek me no more in all the coasts of Israel, and so shall I escape out of his hand. And David arose, and he and the 600 men that were with him went unto Achish, the son of Maoch, king of Geth. And David dwelt with Achish at Geth, both he and his men, every man with his household, and David with his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail, Nabal's wife of Carmel. And it was told Saul that David was fled to Geth, and he sought no more for him. And David said unto Achish, If I have now found grace in thine eyes, let them give me a place in some town in the fields, that I may dwell there. For why should thy servant dwell in the head city of the kingdom with thee? Then Achish gave him Ziklag the same day, for which cause Ziklag pertaineth unto the kings of Judah unto this day. And the time that David dwelt in the country of the Philistines was 4 months and certain days. And David and his men went up, and ran upon the Geshurites, the Girzites, and the Amalekites, for those nations were from the beginning the inhabitants of the land, as men go to Sur, unto the land of Egypt. And David smote the land, and left neither man nor woman alive, and drove away the sheep, the oxen, the asses, camels, and clothes, and returned, and came to Achish. And Achish said, Where have ye been a roaming this day? And David answered, Toward the south of Judah, and toward the south of the Jezreelites, and toward the south of the Kenites. And David saved neither man nor woman alive, nor suffered them to come to Geth, for fear, saith he, lest they should tell on us, saying, So did David, and so will be his manner all the while he dwelleth in the country of the Philistines. And Achish believed David, saying, He abhorreth his people of Israel, and therefore he shall be my servant forever. The 28th chapter. The Philistines move war against Saul, which seeketh after an enchanter. The 28th chapter. And it chanced in those days that the Philistines gathered their host together to war, to fight with Israel. And Achish said to David, Be sure, thou shalt go out with me to the battle, thou and the men that are with thee. And David said to Achish, Then thou shalt know what thy servant can do. And Achish said again to David, Then I will make thee keeper of my head forever. Samuel was then dead, and all Israel had lamented him, and buried him in Ramah his own city. And Saul had put the woman that had spirits of prophecy and the soothsayers out of the land. And the Philistines gathered together, and came, and pitched in Sunem. And Saul gathered all Israel together, and they pitched in Gilboa. And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart was sore astonied. And when Saul asked counsel of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor yet by prophets. Then said Saul unto his servants, Seek me a woman that hath a spirit of prophecy, that I may go to her, and ask of her. And his servant said to him, Behold, there is a woman that hath a spirit of prophecy at Endor. And Saul changed himself, and put on other raiment, and then went he, and 2 men with him, and they came to the woman by night. And he said, Prophesy unto me by the Spirit, and bring me him up, whom I shall name unto thee. And the woman said unto him, Behold, thou knowest what Saul hath done, how he hath destroyed the woman that had prophesying spirits, and the sorcerers out of the land. Wherefore then seekest thou an occasion against my soul, that he may kill me? And Saul sware to her by the Lord, saying, As surely as the Lord liveth, there shall no harm chance thee for this thing. Then said the woman, Whom shall I fetch up unto thee? He answered, Bring me up Samuel. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice, and spake to Saul, saying, Why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said unto her, Be not afraid. What seest thou? The woman said unto Saul, I see gods ascending up out of the earth. He said unto her again, What fashion is he of? She answered, There cometh up an old man with a mantle upon him. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground, and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, Why hast thou unquieted me, to make me be brought up? Saul answered, I am sore encumbered, for the Philistines make war against me, and God is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophets, neither by dreams. And therefore I have called thee, that thou mayest tell me what I shall do. Then said Samuel, Wherefore dost thou ask of me, while the Lord is gone from thee, and is become thine enemy? Truly the Lord hath done for himself, even as he spake by my hand. For the Lord hath rent the kingdom out of thine hand, and given it thy neighbor David, because thou obeyedst not the voice of the Lord, nor executedst his fierce wrath upon the Amalekites. Therefore hath the Lord done this unto thee this day. And moreover, the Lord will deliver Israel with thee into the hands of the Philistines. Tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me, and the Lord shall give the host of Israel into the hands of the Philistines. Then Saul fell straightway flat on the earth, along as he was, and was sore adread because of the words of Samuel. And there was no strength in him, for he had eaten no bread all the day and the night before. And the woman came unto Saul, and saw that he was sore troubled, and said unto him, See, thine handmaid hath obeyed thy voice, and hath put my soul in my hand, and have hearkened unto thy words, which thou saidst unto me. Now therefore hearken thou also unto the voice of thine handmaid, and let me fet a morsel of bread before thee, that thou mayest eat, and get thee strength, and then go on thy journey. He refused, and said, I will not eat. But his servants and the woman together compelled him, and he hearkened unto their voice. And so he arose from the earth, and sat him on a bed. The woman had a fat calf in the house, and she hasted and killed it, and took flour, and kneaded it, and did bake sweet cakes thereof, and brought them before Saul, and before his servants. And when they had eaten, they stood up, and went away the same night. The 29th chapter. David goeth with King Achish to fight against Saul. the 29th chapter. The Philistines were gathered together with all their armies unto Aphek, and the Israelites pitched in Ain, which is in Jezreel. And the lords of the Philistines went forth with the hundreds and thousands, but David and his men came behind with Achish. Then said the lords of the Philistines, What are yonder Hebrews? Achish said unto the lords of the Philistines, Is not this David the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, which hath been with me these days of years? I'm not sure what that says. I have found no fault in him, since he fled unto me unto this day. And the lords of the Philistines were wroth with him, and said unto him, Make this fellow return, that he may go again to his place, which thou hast appointed him, and let him not go down with us to battle, lest in the battle he be an adversary to us. For wherewith could he better obtain the favor of his master than with the heads of these men? Is not this David, to whom they sang in dances? Saul slew his 1,000, and David his 10,000. Then Achish called David, and said unto him, As sure as the Lord liveth, thou hast been honest and good in my sight, when thou wentest out and in with me in the host. Neither have I found evil with thee, since thou camest to me unto this day. Nevertheless, the lords of the Philistines favor thee not. Wherefore now return, and go in peace, that thou displease not the lords of the Philistines. And David said unto Achish, And what have I done? What hast thou found in thy servant, as long as I have been with thee unto this day, that I may not go fight against the enemies of my lord the king? Achish answered and said to David, I know that thou art good, and art in my sight as an angel of God. Notwithstanding, the lords of the Philistines have said, Let him not go up with us to battle. Wherefore now rise up early in the morning with thy master's servants that are come to thee, and when ye be up early, as soon as ye have light, depart. And so David and his men rose up early to depart in the morning, and to return into the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel. The 30th chapter. David, returning from King Achish, findeth Ziklag burnt. The 30th chapter. But when David and his men were come to Ziklag the 3rd day, the Amalekites had rushed in upon the south, and upon Ziklag, and had smitten Ziklag, and burnt it with fire, and had taken the women that were therein, prisoners, both small and great, but slew not a man, save carried them with them, and went their ways. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burnt with fire, and their wives, their sons, and their daughters were carried away. Then David and the people that was with him lifted up their voices and wept, until they could weep no more. And David's 2 wives were taken prisoners also, Ahinoam the Jezreelite, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite. And David was in a shrewd cumbrance, for the people intended to stone him, because the hearts of all the people were vexed for their sons and their daughters. But David took a good courage to him in the Lord his God, and said to Abiathar the priest, Ahimelech's son, I pray thee, bring me the ephod. And Abiathar brought the ephod to David. And David asked counsel at the Lord, saying, Shall I follow after this company? and shall I overtake them? And he answered him, Follow, for thou shalt overtake them, and recover the prey. So David and the 600 men that were with him went and came to the river Besor, where a part of them abode. But David and 400 men followed, for 200 abode behind, being too wary to go over the river Besor. And they found an Egyptian in the field, and brought him to David, and gave him bread to eat, and water to drink, and gave him a few figs, and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him, for he had eaten no bread, nor drank no water in 3 days and 3 nights. And David said unto him, To whom belongest thou? And whence art thou? He said, I am a young man of Egypt, and servant to an Amalekite, and my master left me behind, because it is 3 days agone that I fell sick. We came a roving upon the south of Cretus, and against Judah, and toward the south of Caleb. And we burnt Ziklag with fire. And David said to him, Canst thou bring me to this company? And he said, Swear unto me by God, that thou wilt neither kill me, nor deliver me into the hands of my master, and I will bring thee to the company. And when he had brought him thither, behold, they lay scattered abroad upon the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, because of the plenteous and great prey that they had carried away out of the land of the Philistines, and out of the land of Judah. And David laid upon them from the even until the twilight on the morrow, so that there escaped not a man of them, save 400 young men, which rode away upon camels and fled. And David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away. And David rescued his 2 wives, so that there was no person of them lacking, small or great, son or daughter, or of the spoil of all that they had taken away. David recovered them all again. And David took all the sheep and the oxen, and they drave them before his cattle, and said, This is David's prey. And David came to the 200 men that were too wary for to follow David, whom they had made also to abide at the river Besor. And they came to meet David, and the people that were with him. And when David came to the people, he saluted them. Then answered all the wicked and the unthrifts of the men that went with David, and said, Because they went not with us, therefore will we give them none of the prey that we have recovered. But let every man take his wife and his children. Those let them carry away, and be walking. Then said David, Ye shall not do so, my brethren, with that which the Lord hath given us, and hath preserved us, and delivered the company that came against us into our hands. For who should hearken unto you in this matter? But as his part is that goeth down and fighteth, so shall his part be that tarrieth by the stuff, that it may be parted alike. And so from that day forward was that made a statute and law in Israel until this day. When David therefore came to Ziklag, he sent gifts of the prey unto the elders of Judah and to his friends, saying, See, there is a blessing for you of the spoil of the enemies of the Lord. He sent to them of Bethel, to them of South Ramoth, to them of Jatir, to them of Aroer, to them of Sephamoth, to them of Estemoa, to them of Rachel, to them of the cities of Jerahmeel, to them of the cities of the Kenites, to them of Hormah, to them of Borason, to them of Atak, to them that are in Hebron, and in all places where David and his men were wont to haunt. The 31st chapter. Saul killeth himself, and his children are slain in the battle. The 31st chapter. The Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled away from the Philistines, and fell down wounded in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines pressed sore upon Saul and his sons, and slew Jonathan, and Abinadab, and Melchizedek, Saul's sons. And when the battle went sore against Saul, the archers with bows found him, and he was sore afraid of the archers. Then said Saul unto his harness-bearer, Draw out thy sword, and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come, and thrust me through, and make a mocking stock of me. But his harness-bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. And Saul took a sword, and fell upon it. And when his harness-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword, and died with him. And so Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his harness-bearer, and all his men that same day together. And when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they of the other side Jordan, heard that the men of Israel were put to flight, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they left the cities and ran away, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. On the morrow, when the Philistines were come to spoil them that were slain, they found Saul and his 3 sons lying in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off his head, and stripped him out of his harness, and sent into the land of the Philistines on every side, that they should publish it in the temple of their idols, and among the people. And they laid up his harness in the house of Ashtaroth, but they hanged up his body on the wall of Bethsan. When the inhabitants of Jabes in Gilead heard thereof, what the Philistines had done to Saul, they arose, as many as were strong men, and went all night, and took the body of Saul, and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bethsan, and came to Jabes, and burnt them there, and took their bones, and buried them under a tree at Jabes, and fasted 7 days. The end of the first book of Samuel, otherwise called the first of the Kings.